for being with us on AM this morning, 14 past 8 now. Tomorrow is Thank You Donor Day, a chance for transplant recipients to show their appreciation for their fresh chances at life. And our next guest should know, Naomi Cowan received a life-saving lung transplant a couple of years ago, which has meant she's able to continue the amazing work she does in the community. Naomi is with us now. Good morning.
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 Thank you very much for being with us. And can you just explain, you've had a lung transplant, can you just explain how long ago that was and what your diagnosis was at the time?
So we're coming up to the 2-year anniversary, and I thought I had asthma, but it turned out I had a disease called idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, quite a mouthful, and it's terminal. There's no cure for that.
Right, and so how long after your diagnosis, or how long was it between finding out you had this terminal disease and being able to get a transplant?
Only a few months. So I went on the active waiting list, and then a month later I got the call and I had the transplant. So I was very fortunate. That wouldn't be everybody's experience.
Still though, a couple of months, how did you feel in that time, being on a waiting list?
Oh, well, I felt excited, but I also felt anxious. I mean, it's probably the most anxious time in your life because the clock's ticking.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't know if you're going to get a transplant or not.
And how have you been since? Because you look amazing. And I know you're still a very busy person.
I've always liked you. Look, I'm feeling fantastic. Prior to the transplant, I couldn't even walk up the stairs at home without help. I needed help for everything. I wouldn't be talking to you now because I'd be coughing and choking. And now I'm back at work, I'm full-time, I'm cycling, I'm up swimming at 5:30 in the morning, I'm engaging with my granddaughter, I'm doing everything that I couldn't do prior.
Wow, and you work in charity work as well?
Yeah, I work in mental health. I run an organisation, an NGO. We have about 80 staff and we're right across Auckland helping people get on with their lives. It's called Equip. That have mental health challenges.
So Naomi, if you didn't get this transplant, you would have died from this?
Yes, I would have died. And, you know, I'm just, every day I wake up completely grateful to the family that the most stressful time in their lives made a decision to give me life. And, you know, you think because it says on your driver's licence that you're a donor, that will automatically happen if the unthinkable happens, but it's not true. You need to be having conversations with your family about your wishes because they're in an awful position at that time. But if they make a decision to donate, they can transform up to 10 people's lives with one deceased donor.
Because I was going to ask, and I will ask, you know, what would you say to anyone that is thinking about being a donor out there? But equally, given that, what would you say to any families of donors out there?
Well, if you're thinking of being a donor, you know, something, to be really honest, something good can come from your death. You can give a gift to at least 10 other people. I mean, that's pretty phenomenal, isn't it? That's a legacy. And for a family, I would say tomorrow is Thank You Day for organ donation. So sit down and have a conversation with your family. What are your wishes? What would you want us to do if you're in that situation? So everybody's clear and you don't have to start thinking about that in a time of high stress and grief.
Do you know what the situation is like in terms of the availability of donors at the moment? I imagine in your case, as you say, you were lucky it was a couple of months, but I imagine there are some people who will have to wait a lot longer for whatever organ they're needing.
I'm in an online support group and there's a lot of people waiting. So I think it's a tricky thing. I'm not the expert on this, but it's a tricky thing about matching, getting the right donor, the right blood type, all that sort of thing. And so I think there's always a need for donors, always.
Because that must be a hard time, I imagine, that time, although it was short for you, between being diagnosed and knowing that without a new lung you will die.
Yeah.
And then getting up every day and just, I mean, you must be in limbo land because you're hopeful, but you also know what the prognosis could be.
You're completely out of control, Ryan, and it's a horrible feeling. I mean, I got on and planned what I could. I sorted out my funeral PowerPoint. You don't leave that to chance, do you? Those photos. But and I organised stuff for Christmas and all that sort of thing. But yes, you just have to trust and wait and go with it. And it is scary because you might die.
Has your perspective or your outlook, your approach to life changed since you've had the organ transplant?
Yeah, it really has. I live in the moment more. I engage with people more. I appreciate people more. I'm grateful. But I also think, well, I've been given this extra gift, so I'm going to make it count. And so I'm back involved in the community doing what I can to make a difference. Because, yeah, someone's given me this enormous gift and I treasure it. I'm also looking after my body better than I used to do. I want to treasure this gift I've been given.
You mentioned your children and grandchildren before. How many do you have?
I have 3 children and 1 grandchild. She's gorgeous.
How old is she? How old
She's
is
just turned 4.
Oh, adorable.
Yeah.
Will she be watching this morning?
She might be.
Oh, lovely.
Granny's on the TV.
Yeah.
It's a great message to share, as you say. Tomorrow is Thank You Day for donors, so use that as an opportunity to
have that conversation.
Yeah. Do you ever? This is a bit of a weird question, but do you ever, like going through the mall or something? Do you think, oh, I wonder if how many other people are in here have donated or might have a donated organ in them?
I do think about that a lot. But mainly I just think, I keep telling my body, we're welcoming this organ, aren't we? We're welcoming it. Because rejection's a thing that sits there the whole time.
Yeah.
Right.
So I do sort of think about that,
Yeah. Fascinating.
And thank you for the work you're doing in the community too, Naomi.
Oh, thank you.
Lung transplant recipient Naomi Cowan. It's 20 minutes past 8.
All right, just ahead. William has a wee surprise for us today. Don't go away. Well, I won't say what it is. That would ruin the surprise. We'll see you next.
You do not approach Elizabeth Maddox. You do not talk to her. Don't